What's up guys? Andrew with NoExcusesTV here, and today we're talking about, is this cooler worth 350 bucks? So last year we went on our big road trip. We went like on 15 days, with like 6 different national parks, a huge road trip out west, and we knew we were going to need a cooler that can basically hold all of our stuff. We were going to take a lot of food, a lot of meats and stuff that need to be stayed cold, and we knew that a normal Coleman cooler, we just wouldn't cut it. I didn't really realize how much I would need it, but most of our trip, like probably 3/4 of our trip, was like desert climate with temperatures in the hundreds almost every single day. And so looking back, I'm really glad that I got a cooler that I thought would be very beneficial and keep stuff cooler. Now when I got this particular brand, Orca, I hadn't really heard much about it. We heard a lot about the other types of coolers, you know, Yeti being around for a long time and having a big pull of the market. But I was looking for a company that wasn't such a big name, that may be something that we could get behind and just basically see how well it would compare to the other Yetis that we've seen people test out before. So from the get-go, it's very similar to a Yeti. It's an insulated, like a solid insulated cooler. This particular one is 75 quarts. Now I don't know all of the features that a Yeti has, and so when I say that these are features that I enjoy, you may be like, yeah, but all the other ones have that. But these are just some things that I really liked about it, and we'll talk about some stuff that I didn't like as well. So one thing that I really liked was the locking system. So it has places for you to put a lock here. You can put a lock in the exact same spot on the other side. It helped us when we were gone from the camper. Like I would lock it down and lock it to our camper. Kind of helped it from being stolen, because I've known a bunch of people who've actually had these stolen out of the back of their trucks because they didn't lock them down. Another thing that I like was this latch system. Now the latches are kind of neat because they actually have that Orca tail with the fish hook, which is neat to have that branding. But they do a good job of not losing their retention. And so far when we've used it, we haven't had any problem with them staying sealed or losing or breaking or being too brittle just yet. But I'm sure in the future that'll be an issue. But it looks like there's an easy way for them to get in and replace, so that's also awesome. On both sides, it has a fabric woven handle, but it has rubber handle that grips themselves. They do real well. They fit real well in your hand. It makes it easier to carry. Now this cooler by itself is not light. You know, it's light. It's heavy when you put stuff in it. It's heavy when it's empty. So carrying it was a big deal. But it was easy for me and my wife to kind of move this around if we needed to by these grips and where they were placed. Another thing that was beneficial that I didn't really think about when I was buying it was how it drained. Now a lot of the coolers you just have that pop on the end that water runs out. This one, on the inside, it has a curved little area that kind of sits lower than the rest of the cooler to kind of help the water pool in that area, to kind of keep it away from flat. Like if you got a soda that was sitting in front of it, it kind of allows it to go underneath it to not have a seal where it's not going to drain right. Then it also kind of has a screw format where you can unscrew the drain itself a little bit or a lot, depending on how much water you want to release. It also depends on how well this thing has sealed, which I was super surprised at how good this cooler sealed. Like blown away, honestly. And this may happen in other coolers, but I haven't really, like I said, I haven't dealt with them as much. But this one, multiple times early on, I had extreme trouble trying to open it. Like I would have both my latches off, and I would lift, and it would not budge at all. I would get a pry bar, and I would have to trying to get this thing open to get into the cooler, because it had this giant vacuum seal on it. Because whenever the temperature got real, like if you start out with a warm temperature on the inside of this cooler, when the temperature went down, the pressure kind of also went down, and the volume of that air that was inside went down, creating this like suction on the lid. And I had no idea how to open it, and then it kind of dawned on me, hey, let some air in through the drain, and then it was opened up no problem. So if I had a trouble, if I went through, opened it up, tried to lift it and nothing moved, I just go over to the drain, and you can hear it bubbling in, letting the air in, and then it opened up no problem, which I'm super glad of that problem. Like it was awesome to know that it's going to have that good of a seal, and air and stuff's not going to get in there and out and not going to escape it. Now let's turn it around and talk about the thing that I didn't really like about the cooler. So by far the biggest negative with this cooler was this little storage compartment. Now, I agree, it's a great idea if you want to keep koozies, or I don't know what else you want to keep in here, but it's fabric and it catches on everything. Anytime I tried to move it around in my trailer, on the camper, in the back of my Jeep, it would catch, and eventually it caught so bad that we ripped part of it. It seemed unnecessary to a point where after I make this video, to be honest, I'm probably going to take, it has bolts where you can take it off. I'm probably just going to take it off because we don't need it. It's a nice idea, but it does not functional very well. It has the Velcro is pretty tight, you know, but again, it really doesn't matter if I'm catching it every 5 seconds trying to move it around inside my truck bed or on my trailer. So that's one thing that as soon as we get done with this video, it's not going to make it this summer. We're not going to take it around with that onto it. Extremely kind of just frustrated about it. So let's show you, we talked about it already, let's show you the drain, what it looks like and how it drains out, and then we'll talk about price point if it's really worth it. So again, we talked about this drain before. It just screws out like this, pretty quick. You can adjust it however much water you want, and then from there, you can screw it all the way out if you want to just let all the water run, but we've seen that if we need to just let air in, we just unscrew it a little bit, it does just as good. Alright, so let's talk about price. Like I said at the very beginning of the video, this was the $350. It's the 75 quart Orca. And is it worth it? Well, that completely depends on your intent of use, or what you need a cooler for. If you're needing a cooler to keep ice and drinks ready for like on the river, or just for maybe a few hours, 6 hours or so, it's not going to be worth the $350 price tag. It's going to do its job. All of your contents in that cooler will be ice cold the entire 6 hours, but you can get a $50 cooler from Walmart that does that. That'll do that just fine and won't have any problems out of it. Now, if you're needing something that's going to keep your items cold for multiple days or more than 24 hours, then you're probably starting to look at these types of coolers, these insulated, thick, heavy-duty coolers, to where you're not worried about your food spoiling, your chicken getting warm, your eggs, any of that stuff that you have in here, milk, getting warm. Now, so we went on that 15-day road trip, went to New Mexico, Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, all out in there. And it was during the time of the year when they were like having record highs, like 115 was a normal high enough to where we went out in the middle of the day. We'd go into town and do something, and then go back out at night and in the morning. But this cooler would keep ice in it at least minimum of 3 days. Like there would be ice left in it at day 3 after we were driving around, but we'd always just keep it full. When you read about how to use these coolers, one of the big things is try to keep as much air out of it as possible, meaning you can fill it up to the top with ice. You're going to have less melt, and it's going to keep it colder longer. That's what we tried to do, knowing that we would have to travel and get into areas that were going to be hotter. So for our purposes on our road trip, this is without a doubt worth all of the $350. So again, depending on what your use is for, we really enjoyed the cooler. Haven't had too much problems out of it, except for that back part with the fabric getting caught and ripping. It's been pretty awesome. And so if you're looking for something that's going to keep your stuff cold for multiple days, these types of coolers, the Orca brand coolers, do a great job. If you need something just for a day, I really wouldn't waste the money for it. It's not worth that investment. Like, you almost have to see like these things as an investment that you're going to be using it a ton and get all your money worth out of it. So if you like this video, hit that like button. You want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. If you have a similar experience with your Orca or a different brand you want us to look at, leave that in the comments down below. We're excited to maybe try out another cooler. Again, I'm not really big on the Yeti just because it is a name brand. It's been out there for a while. I like the up-and-coming companies and trying to testing them out. I know Arctic's got another one out there. We may try it pretty soon. But anyway, just leave those comments down below, and we will see you in the next video.